Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. A quick shout out to my newest patrons, Robin, Panda, and Fred. Greatly appreciate the support, and I hope that the way that I phrase that each day doesn't become trite. I want all of you Patreon supporters to know that Ashley and I deeply appreciate your generosity. It does not go overlooked, so thank you all very much. With that said, I am seriously considering making these mugs, not at all to make a profit, but just to enable people to have this and to start their days drinking their coffee or tea out of this cup. This is so good. And yes, Gordon's Twitter poll has since been deleted, but there are screenshots everywhere, so I would definitely be able to make it. Should I do it? Or is somebody else already doing it and I don't need to? I don't know if this is for sale or not yet. Next up, a quick FSD intervention, but to highlight something else, not just the performance of FSD.
Excellent. Excellent.
Now keep left to stay on.
Doesn't appear to be stopping for that red light. And
So clearly this is a very challenging and seemingly very poorly constructed intersection, as you have a green light and a red light facing the driver and the cameras in this situation. So just a reminder that some of these edge cases Tesla is going to have to solve for are indeed planned by humans. Barbara shared that Tesla was granted a new patent titled Electric Drive Unit Cooling Systems and Methods. Now, here is the patent. I have linked it below if you want to take a read, but to be honest, even the abstract was beyond my pay grade, so I can't add much value here, but once again, it's linked below if that thermodynamic space is your gig. Sticking with the theme of patents, Rivian seemingly developed a sliding door patent, and now many people are speculating that Rivian will be coming out with a minivan. I personally am not so confident because we have to remember they have the delivery vans in that deal with Amazon, so this could be for those delivery vans. Sure, it could be for a minivan, but I've also heard talks that a rally type vehicle would be next after the R1T and R1S, but I personally think Rivian needs to focus on scaling production of the R1T and R1S and those delivery vans for Amazon before branching into a fourth vehicle. GM is seemingly going to start fixing some of these Chevy Bolts as soon as next month. Why next month? Well, battery supplier LG Chem is restarting production of battery cells with updated manufacturing processes at plants in Michigan. Now, I'm genuinely curious how many of you would agree with this conspiracy theory. So, GM is losing money with this ordeal, but the narcissist in me thinks there has to be a part of leadership at GM that is ecstatic about the effect on EV public perception that all of these fires and recalls are having. It must be delaying the Osborne effect with a large chunk of GM's loyal customer at least. Okay. Not completely ridiculous. One more, they did account for the event of a thermal runaway. They knew it was possible, and I believe they didn't want it to really succeed. They wanted to throw their hands in the air and say they tried to go EV, but it's just not safe. I bet when they came out with the 2017 Bolt, they expected Tesla to fail. Then with time, they knew their design would also, setting back EVs for another decade. Everyone gives up, and ICE cars are the only thing in town again, just like what happened to the EV1. Now, me personally, I'm not ready to go this far, but I want to hear from you. Just write conspiracy yes or conspiracy no. I would honestly love to know. Next up, some interesting data on the Chinese EV market. So there are about 846 registered automobile manufacturers in China, and more than 500 of them churn out new energy cars, EVs. In 2020 alone, the country added new production capacity of about 5 million units, which was 4 times the actual number of EVs sold in China. China doesn't have a public dossier of bankruptcies, just a group of documents, but since last year, at least a dozen EV makers are known to have gone under or have had to be restructured to avoid insolvency. And we heard recently that there is a lot of encouragement for these Chinese EV companies to consolidate, as I think it's pretty clear no matter how big your EV market is, 300 EV companies is far too many, so something to keep an eye on for the Chinese market. A Reddit question that I really liked that I want to pose to you guys: what do you keep in your frunk if you are indeed a Tesla owner? I have included this Reddit thread below if you want to go get some ideas of how to optimize your frunk use, but I also wanted to share one guy has turned his into a ball pit, which is hilarious indeed. Next up, we have some amazing irony here with recalls for the Ford Mach-E, which I don't like to see that in and of itself, but given the comments that Ford made about Tesla about a few months ago, well, karma is a you-know-what. Before we get to the irony, Ford recently issued 2 separate recalls in Canada that impacted 5,000 Mustang Mach-E units over build quality issues. On certain vehicles, the glass panel of the panoramic sunroof may not be properly attached. Over time, the glass could become loose and separate from the vehicle. Ford will notify owners by mail and instruct you to take your vehicle to a Ford dealer to clean and install additional adhesive to the panoramic roof glass. And in case you missed it, that one incident of the Model Y that had the roof supposedly fly off, well, the story goes that there was a roof rack install at an unauthorized dealer that obviously led to that one instance happening, and then the user tried to blame it on Tesla. So anybody that is still saying Tesla has issues with roofs flying off or any of that is just wrong and misinformed. And the second recall, on certain vehicles, the windshield may not be properly attached. As a result, the glass can become loose and could separate from the vehicle in a crash. Once again, so far this is only for Canadian users. And I wasn't able to find any anecdotes of actual windshields flying off of Mach-E's, but one would imagine that it has to be somewhat serious for Ford to actually issue these recalls. So getting to the good part of this story, December 28th, 2020, Ford's head of EVs throws a lot of shade at Tesla, saying the new Mustang Mach-E's roof doesn't come off. Also saying the doors fit properly, the plastics and other materials color match, the bumpers don't fall off, the roof doesn't come off when you wash it, the door handles don't get stuck in cold weather. All direct shots right at Tesla. And about 9 months later, here we are with Ford issuing these recalls. Moving on, Tesla Giga Berlin is now accepting internship applications for training starting next month in October. Most positions have a training period for these interns of 5 to 6 months, and we reported a few weeks ago they had started with the first 5 students, but now Tesla has begun to offer broader internships and opened 11 more positions. Here you see a list of the positions offered, and the interns will receive competitive remuneration, which is just a fancy way of saying they'll be paid to work there. They may also participate in employee participation programs if eligible, and they will receive discounts on company products. Very curious as to what type of discounts, and would that apply to vehicles as products? That would be pretty awesome, although most of these interns, if they are indeed high school, college age kids, probably can't afford a Tesla, but you never know. Hello Ken on Twitter shared some images, I believe from Tesla's Instagram, of the port of Koper. I did do some quick grid math, and there's about 1,200 vehicles in these images, probably more. But just so you know, the port of Koper services in the only Slovenian port, in Koper, situated in the northern part of the Adriatic Sea. And here is an aerial view of the port itself. You guys know I am a sucker for solar glass roof drone videos, and here we have one of the solar roof powering a Buffalo Heritage Carousel in New York that Tesla did indeed donate. More on that momentarily, but it just looks so good, especially on this uniquely designed building. You love to see it. But as mentioned, Tesla donated it, being worth at least $150,000 back in 2020. The black tiles were made at Tesla's factory in South Buffalo, and that each would be stamped assembled in Buffalo, New York, USA. With the support of Tesla, this rare and historic carousel will be powered by the sun and offer a new family recreational and educational attraction located along the boardwalk. So this looks like it might be a touristy area, so hopefully they have some sort of sign where people could read about the roof and learn more. I don't see anything like that, but a good idea in my opinion. Carsonite on Twitter shared some data, to which Elon responded, but first he said, things I found while looking up other things in the USA, there are about 180,000 car fires per year and around 276 million vehicles. Over a 10-year period, that's 1.8 million fires, or 0.65% of vehicles on the road. Tesla has had around 200 fires and 2 million vehicles on the road, or 0.01% of all Teslas on the road. To which Elon said, not super surprising given that internal combustion engine cars literally have combustion in the name, a quote we've heard thrown around many times over the years. And most of the pushback to that data that Carsonite shared has to do with the age of the vehicles, saying that most of these Teslas on the road are new, but I think the question becomes, how much does the age of a vehicle actually impact the vulnerability of that car leading to a fire? Either way, the point is Tesla fires are completely blown out of proportion. Not that they are not important, not that we shouldn't strive very hard to get to a point where there are 0 fires, but relative to what we're dealing with and trying to move away from, it looks like we're making progress. Next up, Tesla has announced the expansion of its biggest virtual power plant in Australia. I actually get really excited about this project. I know it's not that exciting for most people. However, this is the future that I want to see personally, a world where we have these virtual power plants and homes being powered mostly by the sun, renewable energy, and grids that are more reliable as we continue to have more natural disasters leading to people going without power and hopefully avoiding the deaths and the serious situations that can arise when there is no power available. So for some context, back in 2018, Tesla signed that deal with the South Australian government to eventually, over the next 2 years, have about 50,000 homes with power walls that are part of this virtual power plant. And then earlier this year, Tesla expanded the program by launching what is called Tesla Energy Plan on the Tesla virtual power plant, which is basically a time of use energy plan specifically made for Powerwall owners in South Australia. And today, Tesla announced that it is expanding that plan to Victoria, which is a more highly populated area. As you can see, South Australia has a population of about 1.7 million and Victoria about 6.6 million. And current Tesla Powerwall owners can now join this new program at this link, which I have included below if you are in the area and you have or plan to have a Tesla Powerwall. And just to show you guys where this is taking place, so the Hornsdale Power Reserve is roughly in this area. Then we have the South Australian virtual power plant with that 50,000 homes over the next few years, and then Victoria is going to be over here. If you're wondering why I'm sharing this, I previously conflated Victoria and South Australia, so to all my Australian friends, my apologies, mates. But that is all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.